In the early 2000s, hip-hop music experienced a significant evolution, with new artists, innovative sounds, and groundbreaking collaborations that pushed the genre to new mainstream heights. Eminem, Jay-Z, and Kanye West became household names and dominated the charts. The Dirty South became a powerhouse, and rap started to experiment with different genres such as R&B, rock, and electronic. Meanwhile, away from all the mainstream glitz and glamour, two underground hip-hop supergroups laced with heavyweight spitters were involved in a musical warfare, going back and forth with diss track after diss track. On one side, the Demigodz, a group formed in the early 90s and fronted by Apathy, Self-Titled and Esoteric. On the other side, the Weathermen, formed in the late 90s and fronted by Cage, Copyright, Tame One, LP and Aesop Rock, among others. What started off as an olive branch moment resulted in a barrage of diss records, some bootlegging, and even a few physical confrontations. This is a full beef breakdown between the Weathermen and the Demigodz. We're going to start off in the year 2002, with both groups starting to develop extensive back catalogues. Apathy, the de facto leader of the Demigodz, mentioned in an Instagram live post that the Demigodz reached out to the Weathermen due to the groups sharing several similarities, such as being up-and-coming underground supergroups. However, in Apathy's words, they were shut down from the start and made it clear they wanted nothing to do with them. With the prior release of 7L and Esoteric's The Sole Purpose and the upcoming release of Dangerous Connection, fans of both camps took to various message boards such as cagekennels.com and undergroundhiphop.com to discuss the music that 7L and Esoteric were releasing around that time, which prompted Cage to start posting in the forums that they are not a fan of their music, as well as other jabs towards the rap duo.
So we came in the game at a time when Weathermen were really popular and they were popping too, and we started making some noise, and you know, we were cool with everybody, so we extended an olive branch, like, yo, what's up, you know, and we extended our hands to everybody in peace, like, yo, what's good. And these guys, you know, they kind of reminded me at the time of like dickhead villains at the time, like Cobra Kai from, you know, everybody was younger back then too, so I'm not going to insult how they are currently. I'm just saying at these times, okay? These guys were like just assholes, and so we were like, yo, peace, what's good, how you guys doing? And they were basically like, fuck you. And Cage, somebody brought us up on a message board like, yo, what's up with Demigodz? And Cage shitted on us on the message board. So we're like, whatever, it's the internet, we're not going to stress it that hard. And then he did it again, and so we're like, oh, word, okay, whatever.
In August of 2002, with the release of Cage's Movies for the Blind, and despite having a cult following in the city of Boston, the home of Demigodz artists 7L and Esoteric, Cage decided to stir the pot and took a stab at the city of Boston crowd scene on the track In Stony Lodge.
Standing around like rocket souls in Boston.
In response to the message board posts and the jab on In Stony Lodge, 7L and Esoteric responded to Cage on the track Herb from the second studio album Dangerous Connection, which was released in early of October 2002.
I heard, actually, better get a joke. If you glorify suicide and do a line of coke. If you traded in your comic books and your stamps for a neighbor Rex and some South Pole fans.
When asked in an October 2002 interview with Art of Rhyme if Herb had someone specifically in mind, Esoteric, amongst other things, stated, "I diss the crazy white boy and I diss the fake thug." During the month of October, Cage, Copyright and the High and Mighty were due to headline a High Times Record Showcase event at SOB's in New York City on October 31st, in which they later found out that the Demigodz would also be performing alongside other acts, including MF Doom under his Metal Fingers moniker. In the words of 7L and Esoteric, Cage and Copyright had continued to provoke Esoteric on message boards, stating that he's running his mouth with no skills to back it, that he should tighten up his cadence, and that Cage was going to hand out speed knots, as well as what he called personal untrue things about his family. What happens next, I have pieced together from various archived forums and message board posts of people who stated they attended the event, from undergroundhiphop.com, as well as magazine and news articles that picked up the story, such as Hip Hop DX. During the High Times event on October the 31st, 7L and Esoteric took to the stage and performed their set. Once their set had finished, Esoteric stated that he was here all night, and if anyone has a problem with him, to come and see him. Self-Titled then grabbed the mic and yelled, "Y'all just stick around. We got some gay rappers up soon. I've never seen one, so you know I'm gonna stick around. Fuck Cage, fuck copyright, and fuck Homo Conference Records." The rest of the acts performed their sets, including MF Doom, who had to stall his performance due to the heightening tensions that was going on. The headline of the show was The High and Mighty with Cage and Copyright. However, before the set started, Copyright was seen leaving the venue with a girl. The High and Mighty took to the stage, but when Cage tried to join them, Esoteric approached Cage and asked, "What's up?" Cage replied, "I don't know, what's up?" Esoteric then said, "I came here to settle this, so let's get on stage and battle." To which Cage replied, "Fuck that man, I'm not battling." Esoteric asked Cage a second time to battle him, in which 7L jumped in and told Cage to battle him. Cage turned to 7L and said, "Who the fuck are you?" To which 7L responded, "Who the fuck am I?" before grabbing his cap and twisting it around. At this point, Self-Titled then appeared and struck Cage several times together with another person before bouncers stepped in to break it up. The show was then shut down, with no one from Eastern Conference having a chance to perform.
So Self was like, "Yo, well, you know, we'll go." Esoteric was opening up for him at his show, and we're like, "Yo, let's all roll there and see what it is, see what he's about." So we go down there, and Eso was like, "I'm gonna battle him. I'm gonna tell him I'm gonna go up on stage and battle him." So we're all standing in the crowd, and Cage comes out to go on stage, and Eso walks up to him and goes, "Yo, what's good? Let's get on the stage and handle this. Let's battle." And then Stage goes, "Who are you?" Like, tried to act like he didn't know who the fuck we were. So I'll never forget this for my fucking life. 7L is the first one who stepped up in between Cage and Esoteric, stepped up right in between them, grabbed Cage's hat by the brim, spun it. It was like a cartoon. Spun it, and his Yankee hat spun around backwards on his hat. And 7L goes, "Who the fuck are we? Who the fuck are you?" And then Self came and started clobbering him. Nobody jumped him, just Self punched him, and Self was beating him up. Cage tried to and run, and Self grabbed his fucking vest, ripped his North Face vest in half, and Self was just pummeling him. And Mr. Eon and Mighty Mai were mad shook. They were talking about leaving and canceling the whole shit. They got shook. No disrespect to the dead, but Kamuteo was there, and he didn't want nothing happened. These guys didn't do anything, and we were there pretty deep, but nobody else was going in like that. It was just up with Self and Cage. And Cage fell all over himself and was fucking scrambling to get away. And everybody else, these dudes, I call them cameramen, because they tried to act like they wanted to square up Cage's people, and you know, they jumped up like this, but they kept walking backwards like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?" And I'm like, "Yo, stop then. Square up. What's good?" And they were like, "Yo, what's up?" and kept going backwards, like how cameramen walk when they're filming, and they walk backwards. So I call them cameramen.
Shortly after, Cage then took to his message board on cagekennels.com and posted the following under the title, "Y'all call that a beatdown. 4 of y'all couldn't bring me off my feet. An SO terrible, the white Benzino minus the gangster, ain't swing like a girl till your boy had my arms hemmed up. The only baby gangster of y'all was Self-Titled for rushing me. By the time I got free, security had me in a chokehold, and they did more than the first time offenders. The whole shit is on video, and y'all will see for yourselves. And I will of course sell more CDs, so all that me on the floor shit is kids trying to throw dirt on a motherfucker that they would never say shit to in 3D. The nerds don't like rappers that remind them of the dudes that used to whip their ass in high school. If I got beat down, I will admit it. It wouldn't be the first time or the 6th. I walked out with a scratch when my fitted was knocked off my head during the shit. It seemed like I got snuffed by my friends the way I walked out unscathed. Was that your first snuff? And you're telling me Camuteo with security and cops between y'all that you're gonna kill motherfuckers too? Real motherfuckers do it and don't talk it. I'm the only rapper with a death wish, so kill me. My real question is, why y'all cancel your whack ass in-store at Fat Beats the next day? This is a come up for you and you're still whack and your records will not sell shit. Self-Titled will still make trash beats. For the record, if cats that happen to be with me are pussy, what's that got to do with me? For from Boston couldn't stomp out one man, and the Celtics still suck. As Cage mentioned, 7L and Esoteric were due to perform at Fat Beats the day after the incident at SOB's. However, the event never went ahead. Some claim that 7L and Esoteric pulled out, whereas others claim that Fat Beats cancelled the event, citing security and potential retaliation concerns. Just a few days after this, both Camuteo and Self-Titled attended the release party of New Jersey rapper MC Paul Barman's album Paul Alleluia. However, there was no reported confrontation between the two. When asked about what happened in an interview with Spine magazine, 7L and Esoteric said he was on his website talking shit, basically for no reason. There were people on his website who were all, hey, I've heard the new 7L and Esoteric's dope, or something to that extent, and he'd try and diss and say, oh, they suck, or something immature. Esoteric responded with, yeah, what we've gathered is that it basically started with people bigging us up on his message board, making comparisons between his crew and our crew, and he should be out recording a record and being a cool guy, and not being on the internet defending himself saying, oh, these guys suck. We don't really concern ourselves with his shit, you know, so we went down to New York because we were doing a show with them, as in Eastern Conference. And when they brought him out to the stage, I basically stopped him from getting on the stage and was like, what's up? If you're gonna talk shit, we're gonna battle and I'm gonna crush you in front of your fans. It was his crowd, he was headlining the show and he didn't want to battle. I was like, come on, let's battle. You, Copyright, whoever. Copyright had left. We called him out on stage and he left. So there's something fishy going on there. After Cage said he didn't want to battle, Self-Titled went up there and punched him a few times and put him on the ground. I didn't want it to be violent, you know, but he wouldn't do it lyrically. I'm not really a violent guy, but Self's a violent guy, and he just wanted to settle it real quick and remind him not to talk shit if he can't back it up. 7L's comments were, Copyright's an internet queen though. He wants to be the king of the internet, so he can have that. He runs around every website under different names talking about himself. Once, my boy was DJing in New York and he went up and requested his own song, talking about how dope Copyright was. And my boy was like, aren't you Copyright? And he paused for a second and was like, yeah, you know, it was some corny shit. Esoteric stated, I know they have fans and stuff who think Copyright's a legendary battle MC, but he doesn't get in any battles, he just talks shit. Shit that he talks about, I actually do, and I was ready to prove it that night. And Cage is supposed to be crazy and has been to some psych ward. That shit was like a country club, and I'm not kidding. 7L responded, he's the one who started it, and now they can't finish it. They don't know what to do. We're cool with High and Mighty, it's just Cage and Copyright. For me, more so Copyright, because he's like Cage's little puppet running around trying to kiss Cage's ass. I'm not sure they even like each other, you know? It's aggravating and annoying. Act like a fucking adult. Esoteric again discussed the incident on his website, 7lesoteric.com, and said the following. I wasn't going to address it, but since the stories are getting so twisted, I have no choice. We came down to New York to do a show and let people know that we weren't going to stand for any bullshit. Cage got what he deserved. He was online saying I was running my mouth with no skills to back it and told me to tighten up my cadence. I figured somebody as crazy as Cage wouldn't be so blissfully corny, but I was wrong. Since he was dissing my music, I figured we could battle on stage. That would settle it and give the fans a show at the same time. Then I read online again that he's planning on handing out speed knots, so I figured maybe he wants to fight, especially when his hype man Copy Rizzle was talking about what is and what isn't gangster. Does anyone see the irony in that? For those that didn't, talking shit on a message board is not gangster. When Cage popped up behind me in the crowd, I challenged him to a battle. He said no. I asked him again, and he still said no. He still wanted drama though, and he got it. I didn't throw any punches, nor did I try. He knows who hit him, but there was no 4-on-1 or 3-on-1 or anything like that. He must have been really fucked up on drugs to think I swung at him. I never went near him, and if this video is floating around, you'll eventually see that. No one held his arms back, and if they did, I definitely wouldn't want to stoop to hitting him while he's defenceless. No one wanted to hurt him really bad. Just remind him not to talk shit when it's not justified. This thing happened because Cage and Copyright said personal, untrue shit about my family, pop shit about physically fighting, and dissed us publicly on more than one occasion. I wanted to do it lyrically, they didn't. We came 4 hours from Boston to do a show and let these cats know it's not a game. Mission accomplished. Shortly after the events at SOBs, Demigodz member at the time, Lewis Logic, discussed having an altercation with Camus Teo and LP at a bar in Brooklyn during a podcast that was recorded in 2022.
I ran into LP and Camus in Red and Black in Williamsburg on North 6th. It was like an Italian restaurant / bar. So I was sitting at the bar drinking by myself, and someone tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and it was Camus Teo, and he got in my face about self-punching Cage. Self-beat Cage up that time. And it was at his own record release party. It was a sold-out show at SOBs, sponsored by High Times magazine and shit. Right. And Cage could not perform because he was too shook up after what happened. So it was a big deal. Right. And there was the Weathermen crew, that was all the Def Jux guys, right, and some Eastern Conference guys, and then there was
the Demigodz?
The Demigodz, which was me, Self, App, Esoteric, Rise.
And Demigodz is like some Boston guys, some New York guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But we were pitted against each other by the online community.
Right.
People were like, who's better? Whether
message board trolls, basically.
Yes, right? Exactly. And it got so serious that Self ended up beating Cage up. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
It was a poor choice.
Right.
And Camus tapped me on the shoulder and was like, fuck, what's your role in all this? And I was like, well, maybe you're not paying attention, but I've not been involved in any of this. I don't give a shit, and I don't care, and I really don't want to get beat up by a giant black guy right now, because he was big as shit. And LP came up and was like, Moo, leave him alone, and told him to go sit down. And I mean, I guess he knew which side his bread was buttered, because he went and sat down. So LP told Camus to leave me alone, and he did. And he sat down with me and was like, so what's going on with you? I saw that your cinematic album came out and it did really well. And I was like, oh? And he was like, I pulled your scan numbers. And I was like, why'd you do that? I was like, it's kind of a weird thing to tell somebody. And he's like, I'm a businessman, and I'm interested in you. And I was like, oh, you're interested in me? You want to put out one of my records? One of your guys just threatened to beat me up. I was like, how would that work? And he was like, all right, just hear me out. He was like, I watched what you did with that record, and it was impressive. You made a lot of noise, man, and did quite well, even sales-wise, with really no help on an imprint no one's ever heard of.
Which was what?
Solid through Caroline. And he was like, I was impressed by both the album and its performance, and I want to know what you're going to do next. And I was like, well, I'm going to make another record. And he's like, yeah, well, with who and where? And I was like, are you offering me a record deal? You know that I want to sign with you. I wanted that for the cinematic album. And he's like, we're not going to talk about that because blah, blah. And I was like, fine. No, you're right. How could this work, man? Just imagine me in a tour van with Cage and this guy, like ice grilling me all day long, or maybe beating me up.
What followed was a barrage of back and forth diss tracks between both camps, which I'll break down chronologically. Starting off with Cage's Haterama, in which the original version of this track was recorded over the instrumental of Jay-Z's Hovey Baby and was included on the Nighthawks self-titled CD as a pre-order exclusive from Sandbox Automatic and hiphopsite.com.
I know the lad's 110 stories, you've been sour. The only Boston hits in New York was the Twin Towers. Hindsight, Halloween, you beg to open up. Daddy's legs coked it up, on stage choking up. Drop the mic and left. Cage arrives an hour later, cause the opening acts bore me, especially them coward haters. 8 Jack and Coke, 7 L's, dip, lovely. Get to the side of the stage, these groupies try to touch me. That's a snuff, no, that's a hug, my arm snug. And Richie Rich got the nerve to steal on me for pubs. What was that? Bugs hit windshields harder than that. Wasted dude on rap, could have been through Harvard and back. I know you salty, I sold more in Beantown. You obscene now, you wasted all your labels cream now. Trying to get violent, but gay is gay. The same day, New York, it was all morning JMJ. Too many cards showing, do you know how to play the game? Throwing up consecutive bricks like it's your label's name. End your career, shit ain't even started. Clean up your style, help out Lifty, holding your whole scene up. You see the sweat on his face, SO. I know you ain't sweat like that since you sent LP a demo. It's true, me and your producer got a past beef. Either his girl suck my dick or I wouldn't rock to his trash beats. Both. Look, girls, your health's vital. Cop the Nighthawks album, bitch, is self-titled.
Esoteric stated that both himself and 7L deem the track poor and not worth responding to, before adding some more views of the track on 7lesoteric.com. I wrote all this before I'd heard the diss track from Cage. My stance has not changed. At first listen, I was blown away on how terrible it was. At second listen, I was checking for anything deeper to what was on the surface, because I figured there had to be, but there was nothing. I tried listening to it for a third time, but I just couldn't take his voice anymore. I feel bad now, because he's self-destructing. Just picture him all mad recording that shit. It's sad. I don't think it's worth a reply, but maybe I'll see what 7L has lying around. Shortly after the release of Hater Armour, Brick Records put out a statement about what happened at the SOB's event, which said, "I just want to clarify some things. First off, neither Esoteric or 7L threw any punches at Cage. SO stepped to Cage on some battle shit, told him to get on stage and put shit down right there. That would have been some shit the crowd would have eaten up. Cage backed down and refused to battle him. 7L twisted Cage's cap but did not assault him. Cage is going around saying 4 heads jumped him. Only 2 kids threw knots at him, Self and another cat. They sent Cage flying into the bar and the bouncers broke that shit up quick. You'll see that in the video once it makes its rounds on the web. We didn't mean any disrespect to the crowd that paid to see the show. My apologies to those who didn't get to see the High and Mighty perform because the show got shut down. But you need to understand that in the last few weeks prior to the show, Cage and Copyright were on some calling SO out shit, dissing his skills shit, disrespect shit, and physical threat shit. Again, SO tried to take it on stage. Cage refused to battle, so he's just as much to blame for the shit going down how it did. You can't blame us for coming and rapping on every level. Cage brought that shit on via the net. Same goes for Self. Cage had dissed him and his crew in the past. Cage is a fucking bitch for not battling Esoteric at that shit. As if he had no idea SO was going to call him out after he's been talking shit about the cat. What the fuck is SO supposed to do? Just go to the show and not say anything after the cat is dissing him and allegedly making physical threats? Please. I'm still not saying that everything that went down at that show was cool until I see the video. But to me, it sounds like Cage is just a little bitch who wants to talk shit and doesn't want to back it up. He's such a fucking whack MC anyway. His music fucking sucks, and that diss track is piss poor. He deserves to get served after dissing the Boston scene as a whole. His beef was with 7L and Esoteric, not with everyone from Boston. He has a fan base in Boston that he sold out. And don't forget that Eon and Rip Shop did a track together on Raucous, and Rip Shop reps Worcester for real. When interviewed by Undercover magazine in December of 2002, Self-Titled had the following to say. "It's really no one's business, but those who were involved, I couldn't give a fuck about it. It wasn't even that ill. It's pretty much a joke to us. I know I thought it was funny, but let it be known I've never in my life during an interview or on the internet talked about what I will do or what I have done in a situation. Actions speak louder than words. That's how my father raised me. The people that run their mouths all the time are always the ones who are secretly insecure. Everyone who knows me knows I'm one of the coolest cats there is. I always show respect and courtesy, but disrespecting people for no reason or making assumptions about how they react is never a good idea. We are grown adults. Never put your business in the public domain. Never. Remember that." One note to point out is that the Demigodz in April of 2002 released their debut EP, The Gods Must Be Crazy. The album intro contains the following.
We ain't battling no more. We ain't making diss records. We going to shows and punching motherfuckers in the face.
Some have misquoted this, stating it is a shot at the incident and SOBs. But as the EP was released in April of 2002, this predates the event at SOBs by 6 months, so it clearly isn't a shot at Cage. In early 2003, Copyright was asked by hiphopcore.net about his view on the beef, in which he said, "There is no beef. I've never heard the guy's voice in real life speak to me, so how could you have beef with a person you've never spoke with?" Also in early 2003, Art of Rhyme asked Self-Titled, "Do you have any plans for a diss song to Cage, or any response to all the rumours about what happened between you and him at a show?" Self replied simply with, "I couldn't give a fuck about any of it really." Lewis Logic was asked in Springfield Hip Hop if they made an Over the Top Part 2, you know, the wrestling movie with Sly Stallone, and Self and Cage starred in it, who would play Sly Stallone? Lewis replied, "I cannot justify this question with a response. It would make Self mad and he'd go and punch that kid again." Apathy was asked in Art of Rhyme magazine, "Any comments on the whole esoteric Eastern Conference beef situation, or are you staying out of it?" Apathy replied with, "Nah, I've got bigger moves to make. I don't even think about shit like that." Hip Hop Canada in March of 2003 asked Self-Titled, "A while back, yourself and a few other individuals from your crew had beef with Cage. Can you speak on that?" Self replied, "It was right fucking here in New York City, where supposedly that kid really wants to rep from. I guess. I don't really know. He doesn't live here, I know that. Maybe upstate or something. I don't give a fuck about it, like I've said many times. If anything, I get a real good laugh out of it when someone brings it up. There is a video that exists of exactly what went down that was also advertised to surface from the other crew, but mysteriously never did. I wonder why." March became a busy month for the diss records, starting with Cage releasing a new version of Haterama on vinyl with production by Seb. This prompted 7L and Esoteric to finally respond to Cage with "Do It."
And that's how you strike back. You drove home with an ice patch to write that. I black out till I'm blue in the face. Necklace stains and orange kid, but you a disgrace. You're the save hip hop, but how the fuck are you helping? You went from Pete Nice to Pete Nelson. Your own boys got some shady in check and did a joint with them. Now you wanna talk about respect? I don't think so. As to why you wildin' in your rhyme, I had to get it out my system like movies for the blondes. You said he had a death wish, the motherfucker proved it. Suicide this, suicide that, do it. All that physical shit I done been through it. You had your chance to take it to the stage and you blew it out. Cage, you could've came harder than that. He didn't have time, he was hyping online, defending himself, cause he knows his wax won't sell. Cop dangerous connection if you really wanna cop hell. I rock well, but hold the applause and save it for the gay rapper straight out of Stony Lodge. I went looking for the Word King in the Riding Apple, headed down to NY to challenge him to battle. He said no and got punched in his own show. I gotta thank the little homie Self for that though. Copyright made the right move, cutting class. I got too much dirt on him, he's rocking a mud mask. High exalted, more like sexually assaulted. As a youth, you a redneck, you ain't the truth. We used to go to shows, drink, dance, get high. Well now you go to shows and get cracked in the eye. You cats wanna battle, you can get that ass planted. Bring it to Boston, kid, and get that wish granted.
Shortly after the release of Do It, Cage and Copyright released a 3-track EP called the Extra Beef Value Meal EP, which was bundled as a pre-order bonus with Tame One's When Rappers Attack, and included tracks Boston Crabs, Boston Baked Bitch, and Extinction.
Brick, that's the name of my pit. Call it dog shit records, brick records. Or game of chess, y'all playing dick checkers. Bottle of mo, no dough, but mo problems. Dangerous connection, you and the boy's ass with no condoms. Watch me fuck this herb up from the curb up to his fitted, sick my pitted on his bit coop. Chew that bird up. You speak real words, but can't finesse this shit. And rebel lioness, what 9K to inspect this dude. Pass around your man's powder, get your 5 fans louder, but your bitch don't say shit. Gargling Cage clam chowder, in and out with a new New York crank. Let's fight, grandson. Your pop's lotto though got you looking like ransom. You need a fire hose to get that shit off of the shelves. Left a crumpled up rap trail lost in my 12s. Wishing that for me, sounding like my ex-hoes. Wasted verses on haters, me and copy collect those. Get milk to sponsor the wares he been toward. Came to the rap mecca and had to cancel every in-store. Went to Fat Beats hoping to blast a few clips. I had to put the ass back in Massachusetts. Daddy poor bucks got you frontin' with his agents. Why you bringing up Pete Nice when you running with his cadence? Trying to pull my dog's collar, my dog holler. Look at Richie Rich, trying to fight a pit with his dog dollar. And fuck self-titled, he only mad cause he wipes my sloppy seconds. You and your label better off getting money out that bitch than come at me.
Heard you was on stage promoting We Whack. I wouldn't know, I ain't in shows early enough to catch the opening acts. But I do know this much, when I arrived, stood right in front of you to see what you was gonna do. You ain't wanted, dude, I was high, but you wasn't a got smoked, just embarrassed. I could hit 7 L's and still smoke esoteric. Frontin' in that janky white Lex when it's your parents. And you ain't earned shit, Richie Rich, you just inherit. You just a bitch of bricks, every time you drop a 12, must be in it for the love. It's damn sure not the sales. This is free, I tell your lame ass out the frame any day. Plus I can't make money off your no-name ass anyway. Cats on your street never heard of y'all. I mentioned that so terrible's name at an open mic, they never heard of y'all. Less so I don't know what kind of crack you was hitting to make you mention my name in that bullshit rap you was spitting. The boy can't do it on his own, but respect you get. Buying throwaways for $9 grand from Inspector Deck. No more freebies, but that won't stop. Not at all. I bet Dad'll write a check for a next battle. Try to buy respect, yes, it's the end. Tell SO to add another S at the end. He's in way over his head and needs some help from the rest of his friends.
The fuck's wrong? I piss you off, pick a spot. We can box without the gloves on. 3 verses, ain't no diss, that's a fucking love song. Got a Beverly mask. Garbage man at your door, ready with bags. Cause that shit you spit was heavily trashed. You cussing, busting, and tears, trying hard to get back. Man, I could diss myself harder than that. Plus my buddy in Beantown told me you studying me down. Oh, we wanna be me now. Homies funny as 3 clowns. Don't sipping a beer to here to cut this bitch lifespan. Easy-E's rhythm in the shell of a rich white man. Your rhythm's off, damn. Bitchin' with them soft rants. Sweating in his palms, man. He pissing in his golf pants. Close curtains. What more I gotta say to let him know his flow's worthless? And that he's got no sole purpose. Keep dropping them frisbees, man. If he's selling 8, his family celebrates and gets it poppin' at Disneyland. Keep talking to riddles, little man. You would've had some dirt on me, but I ain't shake your hand and scribble jam. Ain't no split decisions after I ripped these midgets. It took you half a year, it took me but 60 minutes. I seen you battle gin and get blazed and smoke. Couldn't win, so you hit him with some racist jokes. Talking shit on Asian folks. And I got a level with homie. It ain't that you ain't on my level, it's that you ain't even on the level below me. My dogs told me you ain't worth effort. I agree, but I'll diss you twice for dissing me. That's just my work ethic. And you ain't troubling me, dog. I got more comp battling John Cena or the WB Frog. A baby swings and this asshole blinks. Tell us whack for SO the pterodactyls extinct.
In April, and amidst the ongoing beef, self-titled under the Demigodz record imprint, struck a deal with a distribution company and released through turntablelab.com a 12-inch vinyl which featured Cage and copyright diss tracks Boston Crabs, Haterama Part 1 and Boston Baked Bitch, together with his own commentary telling Cage and copyright to continue making diss records as he's making money off them and calling himself the Suge Knight of the Underground.
Yeah, you hear that shit? That's the sound of the motherfucking money I'm counting off this shit. You know what I'm saying? Pimping these little hoes off this shit. Got these little guys with their little voices making their little internet songs and whatnot from their bedroom, getting all mad and shit. Yo, but me, I'ma just sit back. I'ma count this paper I'm making off this little bullshit record. You know, I'm the motherfucking Suge Knight of the Underground. You know what I'm saying? Who else, could pull some shit like this off? You know, I need to be recording nothing. Y'all doing it for me. Just keep them coming. I'm going to keep pressing the wax. You know what I'm saying? We got a real good business arrangement here. You know, you make your little songs. I put them out. I collect my check. You get nothing. You know, maybe I'll give you a promo copy. I don't know. But with that said, let's get into this joint from this kid rapping upstate, New York State and shit, Niagara Falls and shit. I guess it's the latest in the saga. Keep it coming. Y'all paying my rent for a few months right now. I'm feeling real good. Let's go. Somebody's really mad and shit, really upset and really sad, and I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't mad. Why y'all so disgruntled and shit? You know what I'm saying? But yo, what I want to know is when is the motherfucking video coming out, I know people that seen that shit. I got niggas waiting on that shit. I got my motherfucking popcorn ready, motherfucking shoes off. You know what I'm saying? Someone got punched in the face and now I'm taking their lunch money too. Boy, it's the American way. It's the American way. I love this country. Stand up, salute. You know what I'm saying? Yo, but yo, y'all should be thanking me, man. Cause yo, I even made radio edits to this shit. Motherfucking instrumentals and shit. Yo, come on, man. Demigodz Records bringing this shit to you. Haterama Part 1, the original version on wax. You know what I mean? Check it out. Yeah, yo. Yo, check this shit out right here. Niggas eating off this shit right now, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucking 4-course meals and shit. But what can I say, you know? I'm a pimp. I'm always get my money regardless. Everybody that knows me knows that. Bitches stay paying me. Hoes stay paying me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what y'all are. That's what y'all doing right now. But anyway, we gonna get into this next little song from this little guy. Got the little scary church bells and little monster and shit on the intro. You know, but I like this shit. I wouldn't put it out if I ain't like it. You know, that's the bottom line. That's why I'm the executive producer of this vinyl. So, yo, with no further ado, peep this shit.
We're self-bootlegged. Cage did diss records, the Esoteric, and put them out, and Mighty My put them out. And Cage dissed Esoteric. So instead of Self doing a diss record, Self pressed up Cage's disses and made money off Cage's shit. And Mighty My was furious. Mighty My was calling everybody frantically, like Sandbox Automatic and hiphopsite.com. They all told us too. He's like, you gotta take that down. You can't sell that record on the fucking thing. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, he's selling my artist's music. He was fucking furious. But Self sitting there eating, counting that money off of Cage's disses to us. Cage's diss records to us. Self is sitting there making paper off it like, yo, thanks. All right, I'm going to press up your own shit. Because he put it out as digital. And, yeah, we fucking sold that shit. But Mighty My was tight about that. Mighty My was calling up everybody, threatening to take all his shit down and fucking blah, 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 blah. And, whatever.
Esoteric now found himself battling both Cage and copyright and responded with Runaway, addressing the fact that copyright left SOBs before the incident occurred.
I know you didn't just open your mouth. I know of all people, the lowest of the low. I see your tail wagging, dog. Copyright, you don't wanna fight. This here's the mic. Let me show your bitch ass how to rock and bite. Let's begin. I know you saw my battle with Jin. That's why you ran like the wind and jumped out of your skin. You weren't saying fuck sound check. You were saying fuck the whole stack. Case, come on, dog, we got a jet. Still Billy Pete, trying to keep it street, but you nerdy. Acting 730 when you power bar Ernie. White boy saying niggas sound sick when the only black in you be camel toes dick. You a grown man with no plans. And still calling up college radio, requesting your own jams. You a battle MC, you ain't battle shade. We called you out in NYC, you ran away. Drop the mic, find another cat to bite. You ain't tight, cause all you do is copy. Don't worry about Lance B paying me. Worry about why they rejected your whole album and sent EC packing based on your bullshit. You made a second jam and still you couldn't get it right. Getting out of bed at night and checking my website. Using a dead mic, jacking other cats' beats. Cause y'all producers the week and wouldn't co-sign the beat. How you looking in them dirty ass Nikes with a 15-year-old chicken that you calling wifey? Pencil neck getting Averex from your moms. You're in your mid-20s hitting up junior proms. And that shit is unoriginal and sloppy. What do I expect from a cat named Copy? You went from riding Cage's nuts to saying Cage's nuts. He's a shady fuck, let him get stomped. I hate his guts. And plus, you admitted you was glad you left. And not seeing him get beat was your only regret. If that takes the cake, then this here's the frosting. Y'all are fighting over the same chick from Boston. Cage hit the showers, bowed to these powers. Call BK back, tell him you need hours. You should've left Haterama on the net. I said fuck a reply, but you wouldn't let it die. The illest 4-letter word in the world is AIDS. Just cause you got it don't mean you can change the name to Cage. Copyright. Now you go home, write as many raps as you want, but you can't turn back time. Face the facts, you bounced on your motherfucking man. Left him there. That's some shady ass shit. He's a fucking snake. Actually, I guess he wasn't even really your man, cause you said you were glad that he got his ass kicked. That's some funny shit. You wanted to see that shit go down too. You a shady motherfucker. You making Cage look like the real motherfucking man, and he's a bitch too. Y'all need to posse up over there, backstabbing each other, calling each other pussies and shit. I read that Elemental magazine. I'll be laughing at that shit till next Halloween. You spoke too soon, Cage.
On this track, Esoteric says, I read the Elemental magazine. I'll be laughing at that shit till next Halloween. This is a response to an interview Cage did with Camuteo when promoting the Nighthawks, where Cage constantly aired his disdain for what he called nerdy white rappers. Further to this, Esoteric's lyric, "Yo, we're fighting over the same chick from Boston," coupled with Cage's lyric from Boston Crabs around self-titled wiping Cage's sloppy seconds, was due to the fact that at the time of the altercation at SOBs, Self was reportedly with a girl that used to be down with Cage. In July of 2003, Cage released Weatherproof, which included the new version of Haterama, as well as what could be considered a few subliminal shots towards the Demigodz.
Those that came from my life need to get in line. Y'all fucked up. Should've stuck me in ICU, cause the type of shit that I'm on when I see you.
Other members of the Weathermen jumped into the beef, starting with Vastair on various tracks from his Dirty Magazine mixtape.
Fuck you and your Transformer soundtrack. Fuck esoteric, fuck nerd rap. You a cat with 9 lives thinking shit's calm. Well, I'm a squid with 8 bombs in each palm. Niggas is pussy with feet and arms. So I guess you're Bush and I'm Saddam. They frontin'. Made you look, you're a slave to the page in our rhyme books. Fuck them cats that follow. Boston's 4 hours away, niggas will steal your lotto. And if this was 86, I would see you on the block and make you step out them lottos. They frontin'. Made you look, you're a slave to the page in our rhyme books. Y'all some corny niggas, we ain't hiding. Where you find us, Harlem or Red Hook. And if you didn't cancel the show, you would've got stomped by 16 boots. I know some Beantown niggas that's real with theirs. Y'all hiding, y'all some herds, B. And I don't gotta get all wordy. I'll breathe hard on the mic to make sure y'all heard me. 7 now, I punch you in the stomach and you fold it. And self-titled can't touch me, cause I'm scolded. So praise your idols. Weathermen and Adams, shit, I'm wasting my time and my rhyme patterns. Esoteric, man, come see me, nigga. Y'all niggas is canceling shows and shit. What the fuck is that? You about? Already know where it's at. Shit, bitch niggas, shit. You banned from New York, nigga. What?
Followed by Aesop Rock and LP on the track We're Famous from his 2003 album Bazooka Tooth.
Fuck you, hip-hop just started. It's funny how the most nostalgic cats are the ones who were never part of it. But true veterans will give back to those who started it. They humbly move the fuck on and come with that new retarded shit. New slang, new thought, new sound, new heart, you thought, you hang, you clown, you don't, you drown. I won't dumb it down, I'm dumbing out with these rounds. I'm a live motherfucker, plus I'm gunning for clowns. You're a mime motherfucker, don't be coming for pounds. So you can break out of that invisible box, you're not down. My favorite ones are the ones who started out young, rap about comic books, spaceships, and Overquan 1. And even though they were soft, they had fun, but they couldn't break out the frame of the town they came from. Some of these faggots used to send me the demos, keeping their puppy styles in the company flow kennels. But since they had no identity from the start, they started to resent the scene when they couldn't become a part. They've been failing for years and call themselves vets, that's bold. Motherfucker, you're not a vet, you're just old. I slap the shit out you to continue my nerd rap, making this money fist over fist. Fuck what you heard. Rookie cats talk about boom bap, golden ages, pat themselves on the back for making that new outdated shit. But I've been putting out vinyl since 93 and never look back once at y'all trying to chase me. You don't innovate because you can't innovate, it's not a choice. Despite what you might tell your boys, keep your identity crisis under the table. I always knew who I was and I'll always be more famous.
Dig it, Daddy dug his own tunnel under the gutters where the numbers bleed. Hunters froze up and exposed Rapunzel weed. Welcome to Bazooka Works. Halogen Halo eyesore. The revolution will not be apologized for. Fraggle rocket 4-figure watch. I clock 99-cent wristbands and still know the time when your record flops. Emphasis on a sick with it factor. Exhibit A, E, F. Genesis of the klepto reactor. Wanna burgle the buzz off a definitive cast. After a life, a labor camp starts paying innovators back. Baby, look, I'm done. B-boy, feed that to the needy. Shut your liquor hole, fuck you in 3D. Easy.
Esoteric then responded to Vast, LP and Aesop Rock with a 7-minute diss track called Mercy Killing, before seemingly being finished with the beef on his half.
You can find me in the club with the Huns at. Motherfuck that, trucker hat, hug rap, let the beef go away. How many weathermen do I have to slay? LP, get that mouth to rest. Go and get yourself a shake, give that couch a rest. I sent you a demo in 94 with straight original shit, no scientifical shit. And you cats talk about it like you're still in your whip. If you as large as you say, why you still sweating shade? Pissed cause I reminisce about boom bap. You just mad cause you make your money off nerd rap. It can never change that. The fact you make soft shit embarrassed, so you gotta remind us about the profit. Sorry that I study from the blueprint and don't associate with your nerd rap movement. Independently, man, get over yourself. Every interview I read is like you're blowing yourself. Putting dough on yourself, stop hoeing yourself. You're a herb, look at you, you know it yourself. I showed you love from day one and I kept on. But now you upset because your boys got stepped on. But no, right at this, hope you won't get caught. Cause you know I never peep shit from gay side rock. Revolution ain't them beats you record. It sounded like my girl's cat when the walks across my keyboard. You ain't different, you just can't work your equipment. Now don't come back with that run on sentence rap, spit it slow so I can understand you, yo. Went from cold flow to no flow, rushing your rhymes, no punchlines, just a bunch of punched in lines. Bedwetter, you is hip hop as Eddie Vedder. If you a true b-boy, explain that mohawk in the Fred Perry sweater. That look is priceless. Who's the motherfucker with the identity crisis? Canceling shows in Boston, acting shook. Say you from Harlem, telling me to come to Red Hook. You wanna rep Brooklyn, ain't no biggie in you. Fat sloppy fuck sound like Winnie the Pooh. Plus dwelling on this beef is a bad decision. The only fight you ever had with your own metabolism. Making them mixtapes, mainstream cover band. Want a BG unit for sold like 3 units. Damn, baby Huey talked like he had a stroke. I remember when he told me Be Alert was so dope. You was a fan, home soaking the bed. See, when I was eating rappers, you was eating loaves of bread. A big oaf with dreads and a clammy handshake. Now you're making records that even your fans hate. I'll treat you like a tauntaun and slash your flesh and give New York's homeless a place to rest. It ain't about the weathermen, it's whether or not you're men, whether or not you're femme. Vast drop and give me 10. Come take my lotto, man, that's a waste. With that tape, all you really robbing is your fan base. You be claiming you a man but got big saggy tits. Copping all your sweaters from a store for fat chicks.
If this was 86,
man, if this was 86, you'd be sitting in baby shit, crying for some cake and shit. The shit is getting old, but the beef is fun. It's like 501, I got you fuckers on the run.
In late October, during a Prince Paul private party in New York City, LP spoke to Self-Titled where they discussed the ongoing beef, and that despite Esoteric had mentioned him in Mercy Killing, that he had no issues with the Demigodz, when Cage smashed a beer bottle over Self-Titled's head.
Self went with like Big Scoob and the Browns villains, who was down with MOP. It was like this big crew from Brownsville. They all rolled with Self, and I couldn't be there that time. I don't remember what I was doing. I was in Connecticut doing something. But they went to the Cage show again because this dude popped off again. Self's like, yo, I'm gonna go there and see him. And Cage LP told Self like, yo, let's talk at the bar, man. Let's iron this out so there's not any issues. And whether LP knew that something was gonna happen or didn't, Self says he doesn't think LP knew something was gonna happen. So who knows? But Self was sitting at the bar and Cage got like escorted. Like they escorted Cage like out from the back room, and Cage ran up behind Self, hit him in the back of the head. Self doesn't even have a scar from this shit. Hit him in the back of the head and ran, escorted, like crack, ran into the back room to hide.
Cage was asked about the incident, in which he posted the following: I don't know what cats expected. He shit on my name, made death threats and bootlegged my shit. They came to my show to fuck me up, 7 deep. 362 days after the first failed attempt. They came looking for it and got it. There was no behind the back shit. I caught him in the face with a bottle of Bass, and my man cracked his face for him afterwards. He hit the ground and I was pulled back by security before I could stomp him out. They were thrown out, I rocked the club and they went out for drinks. That's the truth, and it's also the last I'm gonna say on it. To round off a busy year of beefing, in November, LP responded to Mercy Killing and released an 8-minute diss track called 7,700 Years to Date, exclusively to Trichology.com, which is a play on Esoteric's SoundScan numbers, stating that the Weathermen were pushing more units through mixtapes than what they were with albums.
We're famous was Roosevelt telling you, crawl right the fuck in it. You don't really think that you're tough and that anyone is ducking you. We played a sold-out show in Boston last week. Where the fuck was you? The very first jam on the set was We're Famous. I gotta say it was a live show. That song is a crowd favorite. I feel great in Boston. Relax with good energy. You should go there sometime. Make a 20-minute trek from Beverly. Did you dream of your career when you sent me that tape? That in a year you would sell less than Aesop Rock on his first day? I think that shit's upside down, cause the ceiling of your career shouldn't be laying on the ground. At least I got a man, you can fit your whole fan base on a bridge of your nose. Not impressed with your trust fund money, not in all of your daddy's Benz. Don't care if you wear Prada. Why? Prada is for gay men. Just an excuse to sharpen my blade to remind you who I am. I'm the guy who sold 80,000 worldwide to the child who sold 10. I'm the man with a happy fan base to the bitch with no niche. Your greatest contribution to the music was introducing me to Lit. Face it, nobody feels you in the street. You will never appeal to the mainstream. You are a permanent opening act for the lower half of the indie scene. Your legacy depresses me. Mediocrity for years. Your records move off the shelf as quick as normal for Barstool. Cheers. Really bringing it back, man. Nobody still says her. That was your girl's pussy on my keyboard. How you think I may bite on nerve? I've been through this before. This type of shit don't make me nervous. I should have known you would be next with a record called Soul's Purpose. Why the fuck you thought that? No. I always thought you were talentless. Always considered you a fake cat. Always hated the rich kids in school. They never had no true grit. They always thought expensive clothes and a hand-me-down whip made them the shit. And you're the definition of something kids should get with. Cause your man bear hug cage and me that you can swing fists. What is this, a motherfucking joke? You got Ted Kennedy's voice in a flow like Jay-Z after a stroke. Saw the cover of your album, good luck with your ska band. Standing in a Burberry sweatsuit on the corner, looking for sound scans. Don't you watch BET? Burberry for women. I'm the son of a millionaire gonna judge when another man's dipped in. I like fun crushing. Great, I never liked what you've done. If I was hypnotized, I couldn't remember the name of one of your songs. But I'm a nerd, so I research, motherfucker, be alert. Remember that? Transformer sample stuck between your verses. But that was the only song you ever had that almost worked. Too bad to get to the chorus, we had to hear you rhyme first. Back when you called yourself Seamus the God Awful. Wow. That was blindingly accurate. That moniker was immaculate. And no matter how hard you were trying, the only way I could stomach your voice was when Virtuoso was rhyming. That K-Stop rock thing, genius. Let me try. Gamers. Wow. Shit, I should have put that in my verse and We're Famous. And about that verse, come on. Don't be offended. I was gonna say your name, dog. I just couldn't remember it. Anyway, you're gonna do a 7-minute jam. Mine's gonna be 8 minutes. Here it goes, 8 minutes.
Now in 2004, Vast Air then released 9 Lashes from his album Look Mom, No Hands.
Y'all niggas is bitch-like, can't talk your way out, can't even fist fight. I think you crashed your luck, you better watch yourself, the lottery's up. What's up, S.O.? Yeah, I called you out. It's only matters of time before the bitch who's out. And only matters of time before your teeth fall out. When you ran back home, you lost your clout. Give me that. You should've never started shit. Now you're in the corner with a bandage kid. Plus I know you're jealous of Lift. That's why he bounced on y'all. Y'all ain't doing it. He got with some real cats. That's true to this. Now you're all blacklisted. You ruined it. I was there when you begged L to sign you. He knew Ox was gonna blow, so he didn't sign you. You gotta make dope music before you come out the closet. And I think it's a walk-in with 7L behind you and he ain't even talking. I had your beats on 10, they ain't even dumping. Cry now, cause your castle's crumbling. And if you heard Dirty Mag, you know they frontin'. You think we care what you did 8 years ago? Or you was on tour with them and so-and-so.
7L and Esoteric released their 3rd studio album, DC2 Bars of Death, which featured a few subliminal jabs which may have been aimed at the Weathermen.
Our folks far from rich, a message to the kids. Think for yourself, don't believe a gossip bitch. Talk shit and got smacked cause you shouldn't have spoke. Now when cats say you real, thought they put it in quotes. I can't fuck with no beef that's overdone. It's over, son, I took it to round 1, moving on.
Esoteric was then interviewed by the Vermont Cynic in April and was asked how the feud escalated from EC to Def Jux, in which he replied, "They can keep making records as much as they want. They seem to be really obsessed with me and I'm just trying to move on. I've said everything I have to about these guys. I could word it different ways, but it's pretty much a dead issue to me. It got started with the EC guys and got carried over to them. I'm not really sure why. They're all kind of affiliated. It's really nothing to me right now. Esoteric was then interviewed by Art of Rhyme magazine and was asked, are any of the beefs that existed 6 months ago still happening? If so, with whom? And how are you keeping that on the back burner so you can focus on the albums? Esoteric responded with, I would have said next question to this, but since I'm seeing they're still running their mouth, let me run mine. When I dropped Mercy Killing, that ended it, with even their fans telling me I won. I consider it over. If they came back really hard at me with some hurtful shit, not just mother jokes and lame skits, I might have been inspired to hit them again. But the shit they replied with was really sad. Have I moved on? Yes. Is the beef dead? No. Those guys made about 12 records with my name in it, no exaggeration. That should tell you something. They're obsessed with me. The irony is that they act like they're too big for the beef, but in actuality, they can't stop talking about me. He was then asked, the beef started with Cage and copyright. How did it spill over to LP and Vast? Esoteric's response, I don't know. They must have felt they needed backup. Vast was talking a lot of shit after that night at SOBs, but I figured he wasn't really worthy of a track. He's been rapping for like 2 or 3 years. I heard how he speaks, so I assumed he was retarded and didn't know any better. But when he got carried away and recorded shit, I had to kill him. It was too easy. I was in the booth and my mum was telling me to stop somewhere because I had about 200 bars on the kid. And LP? No idea why he felt the need to get involved. Matter of fact, I probably never would have even known about that subliminal diss record if Lift didn't tell me about it. But he did, so I had to reply and shit on him too. I've really got no animosity for him though. He jumped into a beef that wasn't his and got roasted. He really tried so hard to one-up me, but just came off worse than I ever heard him and proved all my points in Mercy Killing. I can't hate him for that. He said, I don't know why you are trying to be this anti-Def Jux guy. Motherfucker, what are you talking about? You jumped in, you started the shit. I never had no beef with you. Yeah, I think your shit is whack, but I was going to keep it to myself. You should have rapped about something else on that bullshit beat. Esoteric was then asked, Vast said on his album, I was there the day you begged L to sign you. What's the deal with that? Esoteric's response, if you're in a crew and you're gonna lie to save face, at least talk it over with your boys first. LP will tell you himself, I never approached him about signing to Def Jux or any label he was ever part of. I gave him a tape in '94, and that was before Def Jux and before Raucous. Probably before Vast was even rhyming, so that's that. L didn't have a label. He was just another rapper. He couldn't do shit for me. 1994, before this whole indie movement. If they want to talk shit, they got to get their story straight, because we would never, ever, ever sign to Def Jux no matter what happened. That label ain't our style. Our music ain't that format. That's like Lord Finesse saying, you know what, I think I'm going to join Sum 41. It's 2 different worlds, and we ain't involved with that world. We rep hardcore hip-hop. And Vast wasn't anywhere when any of this shit was popping, so he's got no ground to stand on. He wasn't at his own show in Boston. He wasn't at SOBs when shit went down. He's even fucking that story up. He was home eating cake, laid up like Bonnie Grape, you know, Gilbert's mother. If fans took a second to put 2 and 2 together, they would realise they are shameless, like for real, on some straight up lying to your face shit. That's why I laugh at their diss tracks, saying my father's rich and shit. That's some real internet rumour type gossip shit. They themselves know it's bullshit, and they put it out for the whole fans to gobble up. It's sickening. And I don't mean to objectify the whole label, because they've got a few talented rappers I'm cool with. It's just too bad they are stigmatised by being on a trip-hop label. 7L was then interviewed in September by MV Remix about Vast Air's diss track and about the ongoing beef, to which he responded with, I think Vast should worry more about his health condition, being that he's overweight, rather than making phony threats on a record about smacking me. Or was he eating me? I'm not sure. Towards the end of 2004, both camps went quiet and focused on their own records, and the beef was quietly ended. However, In 2010, 6 years after the beef had ended, Self-Titled released his debut album 1990 Now and dissed Cage on the tracks Dealmaker and recalled the bottle incident on If I Could Write a Rhyme.
Made you switch angles, something ain't looking right. Underground rappers turn to Chris Angel lookalikes. That's what a faggot's looking like. So fuck anybody that knows you. You a coward and a poser. I'm about flows to roast you. Your shit's dead, it's leftover French bread from Stouffer's burnt in my toaster. Certainly it's over. Y'all gotta start with a new scheme. Your goofball Ron Burgundy news team ain't bringing the forecast. Then Cage got smacked up. I remember punching him. I remember pressing up his diss songs and trumpet. I remember having him so scared, chain smoking in the back room at his show just cause I was there. He was drugged up and panicked, couldn't face me, he was frantic, snuck behind with a bottle and then he ran quick. That's how a little man fights a giant, cowardly lion, and God strike me down if I'm lying.
And that was it. Both Esoteric and Copyright have since spoken about the beef and have said it's now in the past and have both moved on. The High and Mighty are due to release their 5th solo album, Sound of Market, in March of 2025, and set to feature are those involved in the beef, including 7L, Esoteric and Cage, and potentially Copyright, as he has been posting on social media about working with the High and Mighty again. But who won? Some say the Weathermen had better disses, and LP put the beef to bed, where some side with the Demigodz, stating their diss records were better, the fact they showed up at SOBs, and Self's bootlegging of the Weathermen records. Ultimately, I'll leave that decision up to you. One last thing. What if the two groups had called a truce in 2004 to 2005 and ended the beef amicably? What if they had put their differences behind them and recorded a posse cut together? Well, there's only one way to find out. Thanks for watching.
We tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. And now it's too late. The Weathermen, the Demigodz, run!